Hello, everyone. Happy Mother's Day Eve, and welcome to episode 331 of the Molehill Mountain Podcast, hosted by moi. So, because I am a hip middle-aged man, I have a Facebook for booking faces, and I look at it occasionally. And in the past, of late, Facebook has been showing little collections of, I think they're TikToks, maybe they're shorts or reels or whatever. They are shot, they look like they're shot with cell phones vertically, which makes me hate them already. It's like, I don't even care if it's a cute kitten video. If you shoot it vertically, I don't want to watch it. Now, none of these shorts or reels or TikToks or whatever the hell they are from anyone that I know or follow or am friended with. So I can only assume they are being served by the algorithm. Hello, Jared.
Well,
I don't question the algorithm when the algorithm serves up things I want to see, like, you know, cute kitty videos. But I do cock my eyebrow on occasion. And one eyebrow cock-worthy, well, that sounds weird, video that has repeatedly shown up in my Facebook feed is Cafe Fox Hello. Is one of these short vertical reels, shorts, TikToks, whatever it is, that I can only assume from the preview image is just a woman dancing in her underoos. I like dance, if that's what she's doing. I mean, she's in her underoos, so I'm pretty confident that that's a staple of the short video. And she's standing like this. Not like this, not ready, I'm gonna punch you in the face, but like she's mid, kind of dancey. So I'm guessing it's a short video of her shaking her hips in her underwear. Okay. Cool. But I do wonder why that particular video was served to me. Happens dance. Maybe it's just a particularly popular vid that everybody got served. But then it showed up again. And again. And again. Yeah, 4. It's crawled across my feed 4 separate times. Rarely do you think it's the same woman? Like, they're 4 bespoke, unique videos. It's just her in the, I think, the same underwear set. Just maybe doing a different dance each time. Maybe it's 4 completely different videos. But it was getting to the point where I thought, should I watch this? Facebook really seems to think I'd be interested in this dance or whatever. Maybe she's like a stand-up comedian and tells very funny jokes. Maybe she does magic, and it's super cool, and I'm missing out. And I should heed Facebook's recommendation. But I got to the point where I was like, if I watch it, will it go away? Or will I just get more? Needless to say, I haven't watched it, but Lee, hello. Algorithms, man. Algorithms. Which brings me to YouTube. YouTube also has an algorithm. And as I have happily stated in the past, the YouTube algorithm, more often than not, after years of curation by me, generally speaking, serves up videos that I could understand why it would be serving to me. Like cats. But I also just see some interesting new stuff that I never would have thought of. Like I'd mentioned cow pedicures. That's a thing. Is this a series? Do I really want to watch cow pedicures routinely? No, but I watched one. I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I never occurred to me that that was somebody's job. Neat. So there are many varied and wondrous things on YouTube. And the algorithm, it must be said, more often than not, I feel, gets it right. However, sometimes, it gets it wrong. Very, very wrong. Now, the way I use YouTube is unless I'm looking for something specific, I'm happy to just land on the recommends page and just scroll through and see what looks interesting. And anytime I see a video that is bigotry or harmful disinformation or both, I click the convenient little vertical ellipsis and pick Do Not Recommend Channel. If it's something particularly abhorrent, I report it, and then I think reporting it actually removes it from the channel. And then I go to feedback and I do the screenshot and I say, please don't put this garbage in my recommends. Don't want to watch it. Don't know why you think I do. I don't watch any other bigoted content or harmful disinformation. Maybe YouTube thinks I want to see it because it knows I'm a gamer and it just assumes all gamers are bigots and consumers of harmful disinformation. I don't know. But I've been on YouTube for well over a decade now, so I've blocked hundreds of entire channels. Full channel, not just videos. You can say don't recommend this video. You can say do not recommend channel, and that almost always works. Sometimes it doesn't. But usually does. Once I block a channel, it's rare that I'll ever get anything from that channel again. So that's nice. But YouTube's algorithm seems to think, oh, you're not interested in this person's bigotry? Well, what about this person's bigotry? No, YouTube, no. Oh, well, what about this person's bigotry? No. Nope. It's just broadly bigotry and harmful disinformation that I'm not interested in, so stop recommending it. In fact, I mean, I recommend to YouTube because I'm a very kind person who offers up my informed recommendations to YouTube because I feel it's a two-way street and that's only fair. See, I tell YouTube, I say, if you stop platforming bigotry and harmful disinformation, then you don't have to worry about repeatedly recommending it to me. Like I've repeatedly asked you not to every week, sometimes multiple times a week, for over a decade now. I'm confident someday you'll take the hint, YouTube. Unless maybe it's deliberate. You think it's deliberate? You think YouTube doesn't like me and YouTube knows I don't like bigotry and harmful disinformation and that's why it keeps recommending that crap to me? Maybe it didn't like one of my videos. That's getting back at me. Someone on my Twitter had a... should have looked up who it was. Had a really frightening proposal. And that is... Was it Cafe Fox? It was Cafe Fox. Cafe Fox said, I wonder if just interacting with these channels is enough for the algorithm to think you're interested. Ooh. Wow. That, I had, it was you, Cafe Fox. I had never considered that before, but, that would be phenomenally stupid, but I could totally see that where selecting the little options pull-down menu and selecting do not recommend channel is viewed by the algorithm as a form of engagement. It's like, wow, Andrew engages with a lot of these bigotry and harmful disinformation channels. He must want to see more of those. Look what happens every time we send him one. He engages with it. Send him more. I think you may be onto something, Cafe Fox. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey. I don't have much of a point with any of this. Bigotry is bad. Harmful disinformation is bad, like, by definition. So, it shouldn't be platformed. Like, and I don't mean, and that would not run up against, American free speech laws, because YouTube and others are private companies and who can decide what stays on their platform and what does not. I'm saying that YouTube should itself not want to platform this garbage. Much like, if I was throwing a house party, I wouldn't invite the Ku Klux Klan. And if they showed up, I'd kick them right out of my house. That's my right. That's my free speech rights. Granted, not everyone's going to see eye to eye on that, but, bigots might disagree. But, yeah. But, yeah, YouTube, keep the kitten videos coming, and I'm certainly not afraid to try new things like cow pedicures, which is a thing. Let's see, what other neat stuff is... I get to see lots of cool music. What's the acapella group? Queen something, shoot. Queen Citizen Queen? Something like that. Excellent acapella group that I just stumbled across, just kind of flew into my feed at some point. I went, ooh, acapella music. I like acapella music. And I listened to it and I went, ooh, that's lovely. So, good stuff happens with YouTube too. Just a shame I keep having to repeatedly remind YouTube not to recommend bigotry or harmful disinformation. Cat Fox is like, 80% of the stuff I watch on YouTube is gaming related and never see any of the stuff you're talking about. Well, I'm glad. I'm certainly glad. I'm glad that's your experience. I wish I had that experience. I also rarely interact with video other than watch them. Yeah, all of my engagement is on my own channel. Like, I don't comment on other people's videos. I will respond to comments on my own. Like, there's a bunch of fun discussions going on in, like, my Eurovision videos. It's funny, the Eurovision fandom is more than happy to tell me fun behind-the-scenes information about, some of the stuff I react to, and giving me various history tidbits regarding the Eurovision competition over the decades, and that's really cool to see. So I engage with that, but yeah, broadly I don't comment on other YouTube. I'm not much on. Yeah, I'm not a high engager either. So, yeah. Chaos says, hello all, Tears of the Kingdom is amazing, as I'm sure you all know. Well, I I don't know. I haven't played it yet. We'll play it on the stream tomorrow. So yeah, I was going to talk about it at the end of the podcast, but yeah, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is my grubby little fist. So excited as I am to get back to Trails from Zero. We're gonna do some Zelda. And the nice thing about Zelda is I know Chaos is playing it. I think Brian's playing it. Lee hasn't played it yet. But here's the interesting thing. I think broadly most of you, unless you're particularly concerned about spoilers regarding the opening cutscene or the narrative setup of the game, if you want to go into the game completely blind, totally understand. But the interesting thing about games like Zelda is, even though Chaos has played probably the first few hours, I know Brian's played the first few hours, we're all going to have probably a very different first few hours. I mean, even if the game starts out similarly to Breath of the Wild, where we're contained in one area, the Great Plateau, until it lets us leave, we're all probably going to wander off in different directions and experience different things, find different caves or shrines or divine beasts, or we're going to play with the Ultra Hand and glue completely different objects together. So I think even if you are enjoying Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, there'd still be fun stuff to get out of the stream. And even if you haven't played it yet, your opening experience probably won't mirror my own either. So it's one of the most... Those types of games are very stream friendly, I think, because you don't have to worry as much about diminishing your own experience, because they tend to be particularly unique to each player. So... But Tears of the Kingdom is over $50, says Chicago. That's right. And as I've made very clear, I don't pay more than $50 for a single video game, and Tears of the Kingdom is $70. But Jared offered to go halfsies, so I took him up on it. And since he went in halfsies on me, I figured, well, I mean, the least I can do is play it on stream. So that's what's going on. Jared's playing it, okay, and make wildly inappropriate things. Some things people have made using Ultra Hand are hilarious. Yeah, I saw a big robot with a flamethrower penis, which is pretty funny. I mean, and I said, like, I'm the only person who had this astute observation and prediction, but I said on Twitter a while back, I said, once Ultra Hand was revealed, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to see all the flying phalli, phallus, is it phalli, phalluses? I'm actually not sure what the plural of phallus is. There's going to be a lot of phalluses in Tears of the Kingdom, so... I'm actually hoping, no spoilers, but I would assume that the Ultra Hand ability is limited to objects. Basically, your inventory objects, inventory items, inventory equipment like shields and swords, and select other environmental objects like stone slabs and wheels and those fan things. I would assume that you can't glue things to, like, squirrels or birds or bokoblins or any of the townsfolk, as much as I'd really like to, attach fuse Beetle to an arrow and fire him off a cliff, or just stick a bunch of dogs together and roll them down a hill. Yeah, I know you can glue a bomb to your shield and go off into battle and have something smack your shield and blows up, but can I take that annoying snot-nosed kid from town and just glue him to the front of my shield? Probably not. I want to go full Katamari Damacy in Hyrule, but I'm assuming you can't do that, but... Chicago says, whoa, that's nice of Jared. Yes, Jared is very nice. No idea why, but gift horses. Never look them in the mouth. So, everyone thank Jared. And maybe we don't have to wait for DLC to get a motorcycle. Maybe we can, cobble one together with our Ultra Hand ability. So, but yeah, I was a lot softer on Breath of the Wild than most. But I still overall quite enjoyed it, and definitely very much admired the game for what it accomplished. So I am genuinely looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom. Though admittedly, a part of what I'm looking forward to is to see if any of my nitpicks and grievances from the first game have been addressed, and if so, how. For example, one of the things I complained about is it rains too much. And it really sucks when I'm climbing up a cliff and it rains and now you can't climb the cliff. All you can really do is just wait until the rain stops or just hop off the cliff and go somewhere else. It was really annoying. Which is funny because Breath of the Wild has some of the best video game rain I've seen. It's really well done. I mean, it's some of the wettest feeling rain I've seen in most any video game. But good gravy was that rain, plentiful. Actually, I'd have to look for it, but I had. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I actually charted how often it rained. Let's see, it's probably going to be on this drive here. I also counted how many of those geoglyph Korok puzzles there were. Did I put it under? Yes, here it is. Alright, let's see. Lots of JPEGs. Okay, here's the Excel file. Okay, what is that? Don't know. Yeah, I plotted on a graph in an Excel spreadsheet how how often it rained, and let me see if I can. Well, let's see. It started at at 1700. At 12:25, it started raining. Then it was just cloudy for a while. Then at 0:15, it was torrential downpour, which cleared up at 4:15. Then it started raining again, again. And then it was cloudy at 8, torrential downpour at 12. Then it was clear for a while, torrential downpour at 1600, clear for another 4 hours, then another torrential down, a lot of torrentials, at 12:15. Then I actually had a pretty clear day until 1600 where it got cloudy. And then 1700 it started drizzling until 12:30, or midnight 30 rather, until a torrential downpour at half past midnight, or I'm sorry, 1:30 rather. Then it was clear for a couple hours, then torrential downpour at 4:15. It's like, Jesus. And that was the in-game timer. Let's see, in real time, that was 2 hours, 2.5. That was 4 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 downpours. Most of them torrentials, couple drizzles, but in 4 hours of real-time gaming. Just Just way too much rain. Just too much rain. Horses carry over? Oh, that's nice. Jared says, well, I like watching you play games and you're cheap, so so I chip in. Fair enough. Chicago says, I'm going to glue a rocket to my shield and go all Iron Man. Here we go. Yeah. So, looking forward to it. We'll see what shenanigans we can get into tomorrow. In the meantime, I finally saw Jurassic Park Dominion, which is the more recent Jurassic Park movie. I'm sorry, Jurassic World Dominion. And now I had hoyed that that Jurassic World Dominion was not just bad, but so awful that it causes eyeball bleeding. Like I'd heard that this Jurassic World Dominion was just Cass says accidentally chucked a Korok off a mount. Accidentally, sure. Just like the baby penguin that I accidentally dropped off the side of the stage in Mario 64 multiple times. I was talking about Jurassic World, right? So I had heard that Jurassic World was very, very, very bad. So I was in no rush to watch it, but I finally got around to watching it this week. And it's fine. It's okay. I didn't think it was as bad as I had heard. It's not good. You know, I came out the other end of the movie going, it's fine. And then I wrote about it on Twitter. For those of you who don't know, I do a little monthly movie mini review thing on Twitter where I just summarize whatever movie I watched in a single tweet. And I started writing and I wrote, it's fine. It's too long. The pacing is bad. The story's all over the place. The editing sucks. The music cues are all wrong. The action is poorly choreographed. And at that point, as I was typing this, I'm thinking, well, actually, that doesn't sound like a fine movie. It sounds like a very bad film. But it does have dinosaurs in it, and, you know, for me, that goes a long way. Jared says, I attached one to a log and floated it down the river. A Korok? Oh, God. Well, the fact that you can fuse Koroks is nice. I'm gonna have to fuse meat to my shield and see what the hell that does. Fear my meat shield. Fear my meat stick. I will beat you with the remains of your enemies. Anyway, so Jurassic World is not a great film. I wouldn't even say it's a good film, but it's got dinosaurs in it. It perhaps tries to do too much. At the front of the film, Blue the dinosaur, the raptor, Blue's baby gets kidnapped, and so does Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt's kid, adopted kid, foster kid, the clone from the previous movie. She gets kidnapped too. So I was thinking, oh, okay, there's two interesting directions you could go here. You could go the real Gonzo route and have the parents all team up with the dinosaur parent to get their respective children back. That's ridiculous, but that could be pretty badass. You know, we're going to team up with the raptor and we're all going to get our babies back. Okay, cool. Or you could have this parallel thing where, you know, one's following Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas. What are the characters' names? I don't even know. Steve and Susan. And it could be this parallel story where, you focus on the humans and what they're doing, then you focus on the dinosaur and what she's doing, and, the very different ways they go about getting their young back. That could be really cool. Except Blue isn't in the movie, really. Chris Pratt, Steve, says, "I'm going to get your daughter back." And then 2 hours later he does. Blue doesn't go on the adventure. That's a shame. Because you see what the movie is actually about is there's a swarm of locusts, genetically engineered locusts that are eating all the food supply, so they need the genetic information from the girl and the dinosaur to make new locusts that will kill the old locusts so that they stop killing all the food and we don't starve the planet to death. But we also need to get Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler to steal locust DNA for some reason. And Ian Malcolm is already there as a guest lecturer, but he's actually a spy with the other person who works there. And Bryce Dallas Howard is there's like people live with dinosaurs now, but there's dinosaur poaching, so she goes out on adventures and stops the poaching, but Justice Smith is like wants a desk job, so he works for, like, I don't know, the FBI now. And so they go to him when the kid gets kidnapped, and he says, "Okay, this is a law enforcement thing, so this is where she is, but don't do anything because this is a law enforcement thing. We're going to bring you with us, but don't do it." Actually, he exits the movie at that point. "You're going to go with other person, but don't do anything. Here's a radio and a comm and a gun, but don't do anything. You're just here for..." And then they go to Malta or something, and then there's a pilot lady who sees the other kid getting kidnapped but doesn't do anything, but then she runs into Bryce Dallas Howard in Malta and then feels bad when Bryce Dallas Howard says, "Have you seen my daughter?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, that kidnap victim that I didn't do anything about." No. But then she changes her mind, and then they all meet on the island, and then there's a Freddy Krueger dinosaur that's blind, and it gets in a fight with the T-Rex. No, there's an even bigger T-Rex, the Gigantosaurus, which is the biggest land carnivore that's ever lived, and it doesn't really seem... I mean, it appears to be like 6 inches taller than the regular T-Rex. At least the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3, I mean, it wasn't like... It was taller and longer, but it was a lot different looking from the Rex. This just looks like a Rex. It doesn't even look appreciably bigger. And then they run around, and then they get caught between dinosaurs, and then they have a three-way between... Not that kind of three-way. Between the Rex and the slightly bigger Rex, and then the Freddy Krueger dinosaur. And Rexy fake dies, but doesn't die, because she's got plot armor. And we'd be very pissed if she died. You don't kill dogs in movies, and you don't, except for the movies that you do kill dogs in. And they killed a dog in Jurassic Park 2. Lost World Jurassic Park, that's what it was called for some reason. I think it's because that's what the book was called, which was very different. Yeah, movie's kind of all over the place. Now, granted, there are definitely more coherent ways to relay the plot of the film, but... and it's not an incoherent plot. There are a few elements where you're like, why? But it's fine. It's nice to see, all the actors again, and they're fine. It's fine. There's dinosaurs. Did I mention there's dinosaurs in it? Because there are dinosaurs in it. Another direction they could have went with the movie, which I thought was really interesting, was just how people get on with dinosaurs now. Because it opens with... I thought... There was this thing in... before the movie opened, there was this scene that was released by Universal, which was like this 5 or 6 minute scene, 65 million years ago, which apparently like set up the rivalry between the Rex and the slightly bigger Rex, which is kind of dumb, but whatever. We get this neat 6 minute scene of, hey, here's dinos with feathers and what they actually looked like back then, which was kind of cool. That's not in the movie. Was that always meant as a teaser, or did they cut that out? Because that's expensive. A full 6 minute, full, or at least mostly full CG dino sequence. Okay. But the movie opens with the bit at the drive-in that was in all the trailers. Not in the movie either. I guess it hit. I mean, the movie's 2.5 hours long. It's something that had to hit the cutting room floor, I guess. But okay. Although there is a scene from there was a short film about dino attack at a trailer park or something like that. There's a quick clip from that in a montage at the beginning of the film of people dealing with dinosaurs. Like there's it's some crab vessel that's pulling up a bucket full of crabs. The mosasaur is still in the ocean, and it jumps on the ship and starts eating the crabs. And there's a construction site with a brontosaurus or brachiosaur just kind of chilling in the middle of the construction site, and they can't get any work done because there's a big sauropod standing in the way. They have the pterodactyls or pterodons or whatever the hell they are nesting on top of a building, and they're just not sure what to do about it because is it a protected species? I don't know. They have problems with poachers. Some really interesting thing. Okay, dinosaurs are back and they are not confined to an island. What do? You ignore all that for giant locusts. Okay? Oh, there's another clip where there's this little girl in what looks like a horse corral being chased by the Procompophagus, the compies. And my thought was, it's filmed like someone has someone, and at least they're filming horizontal like you should. And I'm like, what asshole is standing there filming their kid or any small child with their phone while she's being menaced by dinosaurs? Oh, look at her. She's running from dinosaurs. That's so cute. I'm going to get a lot of views on YouTube. I'm like, put the fucking phone down and help the child. Those are carnivores. They're not too big, but they're venomous. So please help the small child. They killed the dog and Old Yeller. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen Old Yeller. I mean, I know it happens, but I don't know that I've ever seen it. Never seen the yearling either. But I know it happens. But again, is it a good movie? No. Is it like a physically painful film to watch? I didn't think so. It had dinosaurs. It's long at like 2.5 hours, but I don't know. I sat through it just fine. It's got dinos. That's fine. Yeah. So then later, at some point this week, I watched a new trailer for a new movie coming out that's new called The Meg 2, which is about a giant shark. Based on the books written by Steve Alton, which I actually read. The first movie came out in like 2018, I think. I read the first Meg when I was in high school or college or something like that, and I read its sequel, The Trench, and they're fun. It's about a big shark that eats people. And they tried to make The Meg for like 20 years, and they finally did a few years ago. I never got around to seeing it, partly because they went PG-13 with it. I'm like, I mean, that's just not what I. You're just not going to show me what I want to see in a giant shark movie if it's not rated R. So, But I watched the trailer for Meg 2, and interestingly, like, if I'm remembering right, so there's like 3 sharks now in Meg 2, and if I'm remembering the book right, the shark in the second one, which I think is the daughter of the shark in the first one, her having kids is like the cliffhanger of the second book. So, also, I don't remember in the second book like other sea monsters coming up. Oh, also the trailer opens up with a T-Rex getting 65 million years ago. T-Rex chases some animal into the water and grabs it, and then the megalodon pops up out of the water and eats the T-Rex. That's how the first book opens. So it's interesting how that's probably the openings, unless like Dominion they cut it. That's probably the opening scene of the sequel, which was the opening scene of the first book, which is kind of funny. Like Jaws, yeah, it's like Jaws, just 3 times larger. Jaws is the shark in Jaws is 25 feet. The megalodon is like 75, 80 feet. So, so anyway, Meg 2 looks fun. It's got giant sharks. People get munched. Looks like the Jason Statham's a charismatic dude. I don't mind watching him punch sharks in the nose or whatever the hell he does. Looks fun. Golly, I should probably get around to watching the first Meg, even though it's PG-13. Like a loser of a movie. So I watched The Meg this afternoon. I think it was this afternoon. Yeah, I think it was today. And it is shockingly good. Shame on me for turning my nose up at a PG-13 film. As I was watching the movie, I was like, my gosh, is this like the next Tremors? This is genuinely really, really good. Unfortunately, it doesn't really hold up to the end. I thought the first 70, 80 minutes or something were very, very strong. It was it showed an impressive amount of restraint when it comes to the action set pieces and how they utilize the shark. And it didn't come across like we didn't have the budget to show this shark. It genuinely came across as, restraint. The first, 40 minutes of the movie is essentially just a deep-sea rescue mission. There's people exploring the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and they get stuck down there because big shark. And so our heroes go in after them. And that opening, 40 minutes of the movie or so, there is a shark. The reason there's a problem is because of a giant shark, but most of it is just everyone working to get... It's kind of like The Martian, that Matt Damon movie. There's no bad guys. There is a big shark, but big shark essentially just force of nature. Everyone is working together to save our friends who are at the mercy of nature. And it works really, really well. The characters are all fairly archetypical, but they're quite likable. They have a great rapport. Even the little kid is charming. Everyone is just fun, and you just like all the characters. There's no Mayor of Amity type, just bad guy, or even the money guy who owns the research institute and is vesting his billions in it is a dipshit and has his priorities wrong a lot of the times, but he's not evil, right? He wouldn't push someone else into the water just to just to save his own hide. And that was really refreshing to see. The action scenes were well thought out, well choreographed, well executed. The effects are quite well done. It's appropriately suspenseful. I was really quite taken with the first half of the movie. And it reminded me a lot of Tremors because you just have a lot of people who are very likable and interact well, who are working together to overcome a common goal. And they're like, okay, here's the problem. How do we solve it? And they work to solve the problem. And then another complication pops up. They're like, okay, how do we get around this? And then they work the problem, and and then another problem. And it goes like that. It's really well done. And then they rescue their friends, and then they're like, all right, we need to we need to. Sadly, we're going to have to go kill this shark because it's just going to wander around and eat people. So they essentially do the final act of Jaws, and they go out on their boat and they do what they can to kill the shark. But now there's 35 minutes of the movie left. And this is where the movie doesn't work as well for me. Because for the first 80 minutes of the movie, I would compare it quite favorably to one of my favorite action horror films of ever, Tremors. Wonderful film, and I'm still upset that they canned the new Tremors series pilot because, well, they cut a trailer and it looked cool. Shame we'll never get to see it because it looked neat. Maybe it wasn't, but still, would have liked to see more. But anyway, so the first 80 minutes is like Tremors. But then the movie tries to go full Piranha 3D. And that feels like a studio note. It's like, guys, we've got a giant shark. We have to have it just, swim into a big beach party where there's 1,000 people swimming around in the ocean and just munchies all the people, and you got to have a dog being menaced and a kid on a floaty, and you got to have one of those people in the inflatable hamster balls, and it's like, okay, I get the spectacle, but that's not this movie. Like, imagine if in the last act of Tremors, the Graboids went to Disneyland and just wreaked havoc all over, and just kept, just all kinds of people getting pulled underground because there's a bunch of people at Disneyland. I mean, it would probably be fun, but it would be incongruous with the rest of the film. It would be tonally discordant. It'd be like, what movie did you just turn into? See, for me anyway, the twist in Dusk Till Dawn, hopefully I'm not spoiling a movie that I think came out in 1996, the reason the front half and the back half gel so well, even though it changes from a crime drama to an action vampire movie, is the tone stays the same. We switched genres, yes, but the tone stayed the same. And Meg has that problem. It tries to go Piranha 3D, and then it goes, oh, wait, we're PG-13. We wanna put our foot in the Piranha 3D water, but we can only put our toe in. So you end up with this really boring, lifeless beach party attack scene, which has a couple good gags, but is toothless. And just doesn't feel like it's the same movie. Oh well. And then Jason Statham fights the big shark in its submersible, and then it tries to swallow him. And in the book, if I'm remembering correctly, he actually gets swallowed in the submersible, and then he just stabs it in the heart and then cuts his way out. I think is what happens in the book. Also in the book, there's a lot of actual, bad guy characters. Like, I think it's the ex-wife in the book who's this vainglorious, publicity-hungry person who's only interested in her own fame at the expense of everyone else. They do the whole thing in the book. They had her go in that big plastic cylinder shark cage thing, and she gets that. That's in the movie, and I think her character is in the movie, but she's a completely different person. She's not a bad guy. Even Rainn Wilson's money CEO guy, he's, again, as I said, he's got the wrong priorities, but he's not a evil person. Like, he saves Ruby Rose, what is her name? One of the other characters in the film. Like, she gets thrown overboard, and he throws her a ladder. Okay, he helps her out of the drink. He does lie, and he is in stuff for the money, but he's not out to get anyone killed. He is actually trying to kill the shark. He goes about it the wrong way, and he goes about it for the wrong reasons. He's like, we need to kill this shark before it hurts or kills anybody. Yay! Because lawsuits. I mean, that would happen, and that shouldn't be your primary motivation, but you're still trying to make sure people aren't hurt and eaten, so, so it's actually kind of refreshing that there's actually no real bad guys. Some of the characters, they do butt heads and have arguments, but there's no unnecessary bad guy. And that's something that I oftentimes have a problem with in movies with a clear monster. It's like, oh, the real monster is us, not the zombies or the mass killer or whatever. It's like you don't. It's a giant shark. The giant shark is the bad guy. Just work together and figure out the giant shark. It's one of the things I liked about as I mentioned, The Martian, the Matt Damon movie. There's no bad guy. There's no money person who's like, no, we should let him die on Mars. It's too expensive. No, everyone's like, no, we're gonna work together to get our buddy home. And that's nice. I like that. Lee says, even though people are misinformed about piranha, they won't bite here. Oh, the piranha in Piranha are not piranha. Can they bite you? Yeah. Can they strip your flesh to the bone? I seriously doubt it. They're not that big. What's funny is piranha, the way they are depicted was the word I was looking for in Killer Piranha movie, look a lot closer to like a barracuda than. Interestingly, the trailer for Meg 2 is using Barracuda, the song. It's not a barracuda, but okay, it's a sea creature. It looks really mean. I have no idea how mean they are, but they certainly look mean. But yeah, if you stick your hand or your foot in a tank full of piranha, maybe one will bite you, but you'll probably be fine. I mean, they're small. Piranha are small. Anyway, I never understood why movies make piranhas dangerous when they won't harm a human unless they feel threatened. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know. Cafe Fox, a lot of animals in film are shown to be more dangerous than they are because entertainment. Yeah, I mean, a megalodon would be that could do a lot of damage, but for the most part, you would have attacks and you would have run-ins, but sharks, for the most part, aren't looking to eat you. There's lots of other things in the sea. Happens sometimes, but you definitely wouldn't have one shark that's just on a human feeding frenzy. That's never happened in history, so far as I'm aware. There have been shark attacks. People have died. People have been bitten and eaten by big, toothy ocean monsters. but none of these monsters have gone on a killing spree, so far as I'm aware. So, nevertheless, the Meg has a giant shark in it, and it is PG-13, but it's meant to be more of a fun adventure film. I feel the last 30 minutes don't work as well as the opening 70 or 80, but still worth a watch. So, if you haven't seen the Meg, don't let the PG-13 rating turn you away. It's yeah, I had a good time. It was fun. So, what else? Oh, I'm finishing up Like a Dragon Ishin. I'm in the finale. I haven't beaten the game yet, but I have completed all the sub-stories, which I was actually surprised I did. Normally I'll beat the game before I find and complete all the sub-stories, but I managed to hit all of them before completing the game. One of my bucket list items is I'd like to 100% one of these games one of these days. I probably never will, and it's definitely not going to be this one, because golly, you earn money and gain experience way too slow to, like, craft all of the different weapons or completely upgrade it's not Kiryu, Ryoma. You would have to spend a further several dozen hours just grinding experience, and like I've put 120 hours into the game over the last several weeks, and I'm at level 70, something like that, and I would need the amount of, I don't have anywhere near all of the character upgrades unlocked, which is kind of a shame, because there's a certain upgrade tree branch which I had ignored because it unlocks cannons and something else. It unlocks the special weapons, which don't earn experience. So I'm like, I'll leave those for the end, because I want to make sure I'm efficient with my experience, right? And then I realized I'm not going to sink 300 or 400 hours into this game just grinding so I can get enough experience to fully upgrade the character. But I did have to do a bit of grinding because I wanted to at least unlock the cannon and see what that does. So I think Ishin is a fun game. I'm very happy with it. I quite enjoy it. It's one of the most technically problematic. It's the most technically, even compared to Dead Souls, it's the most technically problematic game of the series. Menus load slow. It's prone to freezing. It's never locked up on me, but like, if you transition a scene and then sprint over to like a interactable object and then hit the interact button, the game will just freeze and spin for like 5 to 10 seconds until it figures out what it's doing. A lot more pop-in and just weird technical issues. I'm wondering if Ryoga Gotoku Studios is just not familiar with the Unreal Engine, because they switched to that for this game for some reason. But yeah, a lot of the game's not unplayable, but it's definitely a bit sluggish, and that's a shame. Hello, MX. Still, I should probably finish that up tonight so that because if I get into Zelda and it's something that I'm hoping that Breath of the Wild was a game that I enjoyed playing, but I had so many small niggling irritating issues with the game that it was a difficult game for me to start. Like, I'd say, I should play Breath of the Wild, but I don't want to put up with all the BS. But once I actually started the game, then I was fine playing it for several hours. I'm hoping that Tears of the Kingdom alleviates a good, well, all of them, but alleviates at least a good chunk of those so that it's a game that I'm just like, ooh, I want to play Tears of the Kingdom, so fun. Like I had been with Like a Dragon Ishin. Yeah, that's what it's called. Still a great game. Still really like it. But it's a game I'm not going to come close to 100%ing because it's just way too grindy. There's kind of a dungeon crawl kind of thing that you can do for some extra cash, but it just... The enemies in there are so ridiculously damage spongy. It's just not fun. It just takes forever to get through. You know, it's like, oh, man, I just spent, 15, 20 minutes going through this dungeon for 3 ryo. I could have earned that in like 5 minutes by spamming the courier quest. It's like not worth my time or money. The game, I feel, needs some of its systems rebalanced. Unfortunately, still a great game. Still recommend it. Still had a lot of fun with it. Definitely not the if you're trying to get into the Like a Dragon series, do not start with Ishin. Don't start with that one. It's a spin-off. That's not a good one to start with. I still recommend the Yakuza 0. I think that's probably chronologically it's the first one, but I think it's one of the better ones and also probably one of the most new player friendly titles of the series. So, Siberian Tiger, hello. Says, I can understand those small things really do add up. For those interested, I did a whole series on YouTube called Bad Breath of the Wild. There's, I think, 7 entries. All told, it's maybe 45 minutes of nitpicks. And it's all really small stuff. I talked earlier about it rains too damn much. But also other things like Link doesn't run very fast. Like, he runs just slightly slower than I think he should. I've used in the series I used the analogy. It's like being stuck. It's like driving and being stuck behind a car who's going 38 in a 40. I mean, it's only 2 miles an hour below the speed limit, but move, you know. I always felt that Link just moved a little bit too slow for the sheer size of Hyrule. Just needed to make him go a little bit faster. Also, be nice if he didn't run out of stamina in, I think, 4 seconds. Like, at the very beginning of the game, that one stamina wheel, I think, is possibly 3. I think it's 4 seconds. Like, I mean, I'm not much of a sprinter, but I can sprint longer than 4 seconds. The horse, I love the horses in the game, but the whistling to call your horse thing is really irritating. I mean, I understand you whistle for your horse, and the horse has to walk to you in real time. So usually what you end up doing is like running towards your horse and meeting him halfway. And it's like, I get it, that's realistic. The horse takes time to get to you, but I honestly preferred the way it works in other games where your horse is like stalking you from the tree line, and you whistle for your horse, and the opponent's like, I'm here! That's fine. But the weirdest thing about the horses in Breath of the Wild is if your horse is here, there's a whistle range. You can go this far, and if you go any further, your horse can't hear you. You know, if you walk away from your horse, it'll hear you here, 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 here. Here's the outer range from where your horse can hear you. Now, here's the weird thing. Your horse can hear you here, but not here, right? However, if you walk outside of the whistle range, you think all you have to do is come right back in the whistle range, whistle, and your horse can hear you. No. If you exit the whistle range, you have to walk all the way back about here before your horse can hear you again. Weapon durability was... I get what they were going for, but it didn't have the right effect. I think what they wanted to do was encourage you to use more, and what it encouraged me to do is hoard the good stuff for when I really needed it. It's like, oh, I'm not wasting my fire sword on this stupid Bokoblin. I'm gonna wait till I'm fighting Ganon or a Lionel or something like that. So in isolation, none of these issues are deal breakers or really big things all in and of themselves. But yeah, like who was it? I lost it, but yeah. Point being, I'm looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom. Tiger says, I found it odd that Nintendo, they did a direct sequel. Haven't done that in a long while, not since Majora's Mask. I think Link Between Worlds is a sequel to Link to the Past, but I haven't played it, so I'm not sure. But yeah, it's not often that Nintendo does a direct sequel to a Zelda game. That is true. This is definitely one of the few. Cafe Fox is Link Between Worlds sequel to Link to the Past. Not a direct one, but yeah. Oh, okay. Jared says some of your nitpicks are fixed. So okay, that's cool. Try being stuck behind someone going 25 in a 55 zone. Yeah. It's like, yeah, 38 and a 40 is frustrating, but you try not to get irritated. You're like, I mean, they're only going slightly under, right? That's fine. But if you're in a 40 and everyone's going like 25, you're like, what? Guys, what's going on? Why are we going so slow? You think Link took up smoking? It's like, whew. Although he can whistle sprint, so... Although I've seen what you have to do to the controller to get whistle sprinting to work, and... Oh, man. I hope you speedrunners are doing, like, finger exercises before, running a Breath of the Wild speedrun and doing that whistle sprint thing, because good gravy. They did not address the whistle range. Oh, that's a shame. Durability is somewhat addressed with the fusibility. Okay. Well, we will find out tomorrow on Mother's Day. And so join me tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time for some Tears of the Kingdom fun. Hope so. And looking forward to it. So take care, everyone. Have a good night, and hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.